Yep. All right, cool. We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind me. I'm just checking to make sure this tech is acting right because, like you guys may have known, this tech been acting real crazy over these last couple days. So I just want to see if this is popping up on YouTube. Where we at? YouTube. Ah, it is working. Wow. So we are live on YouTube. That makes me happy. That makes me very boom action. All right. Whew, man. Every single week is a new battle with this tech. I need to get me a producer because I can't be producer, host, interviewer, and all those things. But you guys know as entrepreneurs, you're everything in your business. One week you're accounting, the next week you're sales, marketing, HR, law, legal. I mean, any and everything. You name it, that's what you are. So I'm beyond excited to be here with you guys tonight. I'm excited to talk about what I'm going to talk about tonight. This is actually going to be different from my usual hidden secrets conversations, because one, it's just me, myself, and I. That is planned. Nobody dropped. Just to let you know. Just for us to have a candid conversation, just on any and everything, honestly, as far as entrepreneurship, because as we all know, entrepreneurship can get real crazy real fast. And so I wanted to form where we're able to connect and have conversation on all these different things. And I'm happy to be here. So let me make sure that I give y'all the typical spill that we always give at the top of our lives, which I don't have up. But what I'll do is this is your host, Eagle Art Shaw. I'm beyond excited to be here. This is another episode of Hidden Secrets Live that happens every Tuesday at 7 or sometimes 7:30, like where we're at today, where you're going to hear from entrepreneurs that have started, built, grown amazing, incredible businesses, but not just talk about their biggest wins, but they talk about their biggest failures. Because what I truly believe is that it's not just about the things that you see them accomplish on the mountaintop, but what they experience as they go through the valley. And so today, it's me, myself, and I. I didn't make myself my own personal bio. I didn't do any of that. But I will, I guess, give you my background because I don't think I've ever done that on Hidden Secrets. So, as you guys know, Ego Art Shaw, Justin Shaw, whatever you want to call me, we cool with that. I have been an entrepreneur, uh, a traditional business owner for close to a decade now, but I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I was selling candy in high school. I was washing cars. I was raking leaves, mowing lawns, selling hand-me-down toys to my friends in the yards, man. Uh, Anything that could be sold, I would do it. And I didn't know that's exactly what I was doing back then. I was like, my mother always gave me like, "Hey, if you got the money for it, then we could do it." And so my natural instinct was just to be a professional problem solver. So I wanted to take all my friends to Six Flags one year. My mother was like, "You got the money for it?" And so what did I do? I sold my guitar and I sold my speaker. I think I had a speaker that was attached. It was the electric bass guitar, and it was about I pawned it for like $150. Now, as a grown up, I know that ain't enough to take 6 kids to Six Flags, but I think because she saw that I was willing to let go of a guitar at that time, to get $150 just to have my friends over and for us to go and, do the things that we do at Six Flags, she, you know, gotta stay. Nonetheless, that's not the point here. But as a traditional business owner, I've owned and operated a custom suit company for the past 7 years, called Shaw's Covenant Custom Clothing, where we coach a purpose-driven gentleman, ensuring that he's polished, presentable, producing results simply from his image. And in a layman's terms, we want to make sure that we're fitting people with purpose that want to add value to the community, that already add value to the community and are true change makers. I've never been one to be super excited to fit celebrities or affluent individuals that you just see on TV all the time. I've just always been obsessed with serving the people that change the world, whether they're in the front lines or they're behind closed doors, whether it's the CEOs, whether it's the consultants that are helping to build those businesses, whether it's your local politicians that are on the ground boots walking door to door to make your life better, those are the people I wanna serve because I believe that everybody has a purpose, everybody has a calling, and those that are chosen to tap in not even chosen, those that choose to tap into their gifts get access to opportunities that most don't have access to because they chose to go into that space. So that's what I do. I'm very excited about where we're at today, because over the past couple years, 2020 was incredibly crazy, but it was also a year where our business transcended, where we doubled our revenue even though we were closed for, like, 4 or 5 months for our business, and I was for several years hitting plateaus, and I'm like, "Okay, well, why are we hitting a plateau?" And I'm sharing this now because over the past several months, I've seen the opportunities start to pour in because I'm adjusting, um, a lot of things in my business. You know, as you see in our hidden secrets um, talks, I always like to learn more about that person's gift, right? Because when we're talking about gifts, we're talking about what is your superpower in your business? Because your superpower isn't your product. I mean, your product is the reason people, but that's the problem that you're solving, right? But the reason people are attracted to your product is because of the gift that you have and how you utilize that gift. And so for me, one of my couple of gifts, because everybody has a few and you lean into some more than others. But one that I love is the operational strategic planning component that I kinda love to, ingrain myself in. I'm an avid learner. I love learning every part of business. I'm telling you, anytime that I was in Barnes& and Nobles this past weekend, and I it's about 30 books I wanted to buy, and I had to negotiate myself down to 3, which is a really good job. I only converted 10% of the books that were on my list right there. But I got it because I always want to learn because as you go through this entrepreneur endeavor, what you're quickly going to find out is that what got you here isn't gonna get you to the next level. What got you here isn't what's going to get you to the next level. Your talent is only gonna get you as far as its natural capabilities can take you. But what makes someone truly great, and not just an entrepreneur, but as a leader, is for you to outlearn and outwork any and everybody around you. And so I remember the reason I'm bringing this up is because during that exponential growth period in my business, I was excited because I was getting the coaching, I was reading, I was doing all these different things, but I was learning and, I was learning too much and I was getting too many results. And it got to the point where I was in my own mind and in my own head, like, man, you know what you're doing. You don't need nobody. You can just go out here and do what you're already doing. You don't need no insight. You don't need no input. It ain't broke, don't fix it. And this is me being transparent. The applause was getting to my head because people saw that we were doing amazing and great things. And so I felt like we were killing it. But the problem with that is it makes you stagnant. Whether there's something called leading indicators and lagging indicators, right? And lagging indicators, and I might be actually flipping this upside down. Excuse me, leading indicators are things that are currently happening that are going to show in the future, right? And then lagging indicators are things that are present but based off of things that happened in the past that made the present a reality. And so I was living off of my leading indicators. I was like, all right, we having the best months. We're doing this, we're doing that. But I wasn't accounting for what was going to happen in the future. So that's me setting up the funnels in my business. When the pandemic happened, a bunch of leads came in because people just wanted to get outside. So, we getting 5, 6, 7 different leads in a single day. And I'm like, wow, I never forget when I put $1,800 into ads in a month, it converted into $32,000 if I'm not mistaken. And at that point, I thought I was a marketing and sales guru. But here's the thing. I didn't have a funnel that was sustainable. So though it looked good at that time, it did not last. I put the same amount of money in and it didn't kick it back out. And so I stopped learning. I stopped learning because I thought that what I was doing at the time was effective. But in reality, 1, it was because of the environment of the economy, but 2 is that I was putting in work that was just random, but I call it, you pay and pray when you do some ad, right? So for instance, you have a picture or a video, you put it online, and then you just boost it. That's paying and praying. There's no strategy behind it. You just want more eyes on it, but you're not really telling your audience what to do. And that's essentially what I was doing. And so I wasn't able to identify the metrics that would help me get to the next level of my business. So I was just getting exposure, but I wasn't getting the conversions, and conversions being people inquiring on my website to learn more about our offerings, our services, our suits, right? And so I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole. But nonetheless, I decided for multiple years that I knew it all. And not until probably like the past 6 to 12 months, I fully submitted to the idea that I don't, because so many things have happened in that time frame. And so because of that, I've submitted back to the idea that I have to become a master student of the craft. I'm taking notes differently. A matter of fact, there is pull this up real quick. Don't judge me, but I also had notes here as if I was interviewing myself, just in case I didn't have anything to talk about. But this almost feels like a not a vent session, but you get me. It kinda brings me to the first point that I actually wanted to talk about, which is putting it so first and foremost, it's the transformation of an entrepreneur, and there are 4 main things that I've accounted for this, and the first thing was put yourself in a position to grow mentally, because that requires a number 1, because the outcome always the income not excuse me, let me make sure I'm not trying to get too deep. But it always starts first mentally with your level of belief, your thought process, how you think about all these different things when it comes to growing your business, because your business is a product of what's going on in your head, right? Just when we think about Walt Disney had a vision for Disney World years before it came to life. It outlasted him. He saw it when he passed and they actually opened up Disney World in Florida. One of the individuals that was speaking on the podium as they were, letting it out into the world that they wish that Walt could have been here to see this all transpire. And his wife got up on that stage immediately after that person and said that he did. He has seen all this because it was in his head the entire time. And so that's why it's so important for us to have the ability to position ourselves mentally for whatever dream and whatever vision that we have, because it's gonna require a different level of who you are, right? So the first thing is you gotta understand that you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. These principles are gonna sound so simple, so simplistic, so vague, but I promise you, if you just understand the basics, this actually isn't complicated. The first thing is you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. I was talking on, if you follow me on Instagram, I always have like 18 different stories on, things that I'm reading, whether it's in the Bible or whether it's in, just any book that I'm currently reading. And one of the things, pastor was talking about this weekend, at church was, how budgeting, right? And, cash management. And for me, I was thinking about, how you allocate your money. And when we talk about allocations in your money, we always say put 10% or 15% towards your investments, your savings for the future. And when he said that, what triggered in me was, wow, we think so hard about this for our finances, but what about our own personal growth? How much time do we allocate to our own personal growth? How much time are we investing in the workshop? So, camera all the way up here. How much are we investing in the workshops that we're going to, conferences, the books that we read, the audios that we listen to? All these different things expand your vision to where you can truly see what's possible, and for you to question what people say isn't possible, because everything that is here today was not here at one point and somebody said it was impossible. The frame that you see back here was once impossible. Imagine a caveman sitting there saying, "No one can ever build that." But guess what? It's here now because somebody had the audacity to believe in it. And that starts with a mental capacity to believe that whatever your vision is for your business, whatever it is for I mean, we talking about business, so I'll stay right there. But being able to have the mental capacity to say that I'm going to allocate time to my own growth because just like the man that has an axe that goes and chops down the tree, he will chop it down 10 times faster if he takes time to sharpen his axe. He won't be as fatigued when he goes out there to chop it because it requires less effort because he got the skill to be able to make his axe sharper. And the last thing I want you to do is a full grown individual with a family, with a spouse, with a child is to exert too much energy and time on something, though it's your vision and your gift, but have nothing left for your family, right? Because as we're building these businesses, we have to account for all those different things. So that's the first thing about mental growth. The second thing about it is you got to change your scenery. That's changing your circle, changing the things you read, changing the things you watch. For me, over the past 4 months, 4 months, every morning, I am reading at least 2 hours a day. Every day, I'm probably watching 2 to 3 hours worth of YouTube content while I'm on my drive and my commute on ways that I can get better, hearing about people that are making $1,000,000 in a day, hearing people that are making $5,000,000 in a day, people that are closing deals that I would only dream of. Because what happens is if we don't look at it as if it's possible, then it won't ever become our own reality. And so for me, I try to make sure that I absorb myself with this content because that's how I build up the mental bandwidth to be able to conquer anything that I go through. There's one thing that I always think about every single day, just as an entrepreneur, I mean, just in general, um, is that I'm gonna get a W some kind of way today. I'm going to find the W before I know Imma have to go through these L's, but Imma get to the W. The L's being the losses, the W's being the win. Like, today, if I'm not mistaken, I took probably, like, 3 losses, but I was so convicted that I needed to get some W's. I ended up getting, I believe, like 2 or 3 W's, right? And the power in that is you have the mental mindset to say no matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna go out there and make it happen because everybody knows that the path isn't gonna just be straight. It's gonna be bumpy, it's gonna be vigorous, it's gonna be vicious, all these different things, but you just had to have the ability to go ahead and go out there and do it. So you gotta change your scenery, the people that you're looking at, the things that you're watching on TV, the locations that you go to. When I want to expand my vision, I go to very high-end restaurants, hotels, cafes, places that I don't, quote, unquote, "feel like I belong" because it gives me a different perspective on how people look at life. So, I'm gonna stop with that. Now, the next thing, as an entrepreneur, I feel like a lot of us drop the ball here, and I didn't know how important it was until I realized how important it was. You gotta put yourself in position to collect data. Yes, data. Data is the number 1 driver of your business. You wanna know why every time you go onto a website, it says accept these cookies? It's because it's an ability for them to acquire data on your tendencies and habits when you get onto their site. They know how to retarget you when you get on social media, whether you go to your email, when you subscribe to them. 'Cause the more information they have, the more they're able to word and change their language to appeal to what needs to go through your ears for you to interpret it and see it as a value add to your life. So, for instance, I mean, think about all the things that are currently happening today. You ever think about something and then it just pop up on your timeline? That's because of the data that you're putting out there. I mean, I know it may be a conspiracy theory, but our phones are listening. We could say, "Hey Siri," and she's gonna start talking. Don't talk like that. Cool. But so, how are ways that you collect data? The more things that you know about your audience, the better results you're gonna be able to, cater to them. Meaning, if I know that my target audience of all the people that have bought suits from me, I know my top 3 they're navy blue suits, charcoal gray suits, and green suits. right? So what does that tell me? If the data is telling me those are the 3 main suits that I sell that people love to see, that means those are what my ads are gonna be about, right? Then if you wanna get even more detail, we have to look at the information on why they bought those. Now, out of those 3 suits, blue, charcoal, gray, and green, green is always typically alluding to a wedding. So when I'm looking at boosting an ad for a wedding client, I'm gonna make excuse me, for the green suit, I'm going to tailor the target the language to someone that is a groom or a fiancé, right? Because that gives you the ability to be able to target whoever's in the space that you're trying to get into, right? Now, I know I'm going all over the place, but I did have a few questions that I found that were the most frequently asked questions of entrepreneurs. I definitely wanted to, tap into some of them. So, one of the questions were, "What advice would you give to someone that's just starting their own business?" The number one advice I would give to somebody that's starting their business for the first time is to have a vision first. Have a vision on what's possible. Take time out to sit there and map it out, because what's gonna happen is you're going to expand your belief system. You're gonna be able to expand the thought process on how you can get there, because you're gonna end up saying like, "Wow, this is huge. This is incredible. How do I do it?" And when you start to ask your question the question of how, you also allude to the question of who, because sometimes it's a capacity thing. And so the reason why your vision is so important to start off is because people grasp on the vision over everything else. I understand that you had to have a superior product, you had to have an amazing campaign, you have to have all these different things in place as a business owner, but if I can paint a vivid picture to my audience about where we're going, they're gonna go with me to the moon. I know it sounds crazy, but that's why so many people gravitate to Elon Musk. Elon Musk has said some of the most daring, most obtuse, most what some of the most craziest things that you have ever heard, but people believe him because he commits to it, and he consistently commits to it to the point that it comes to fruition. And so in order for your product, your service to be successful, you gotta paint the vision on what the reality will be once it's out there in the market. How is it gonna change somebody's life? How is it going to improve your life? How is it going to improve their quality of life? What specific outcomes are gonna be attached to this? Because if there is an outcome that's attached to it, that means that people can visualize it for themselves and how it could be in their life, so that way it can improve their quality of life. So, that's my answer to that question. Next question was, "What is the hardest part about being an entrepreneur?" Hmm, that is a very good question. There are a lot of hard things about being an entrepreneur. First thing I actually wanna say is that everybody ain't meant to be one, because you gotta identify what your goal is. You don't have a goal in place, which somewhat actually goes back towards having a vision, then it makes entrepreneurship very hard. I know that I have this love-hate relationship with business, because what I realize is when I start doing a lot in my business and I'm feeling a lot of frustration and a lot of tension, the reason being is because I lost the vision for my business. And that's what makes it really hard. Being able to consistently see the desired outcome that you see a year from now, 5 years from now, 10, 20, 30 years from now, in the midst of the chaos that you're currently in. Because, yeah, you don't have any clients coming in. Yeah, you're having product malfunctions. Yeah, the shipment is taking forever. Yeah, you had to give that refund. Yeah, your account's in the negative. It's hard to keep that vision in your mind as you're going through that day-to-day hell. And so we have to believe that or yeah, of course we have to believe, but we also have to consistently put that vision in front of us every single day. And Think and Grow Rich, which is by Napoleon Hill, which is one of the most sold books in the world, He always talks about taking a moment every single morning to read out your vision, like, word for word, write it out and say it every single day because you're gonna naturally have a belief behind it to remind yourself on why you're getting up this morning. Who is attached to your purpose that you can set free? You might be selling soap, but that soap may unlock something for somebody. It may seem like something little, but imagine that your soap has an amazing aroma to it and somebody decides to purchase it. They put it on, somebody walks by and say, "Man, that smells amazing." And they have a conversation and finds out that person is connected to their purpose. And now just from a scent, from you igniting one of the 5 senses in somebody, you're able to change somebody's trajectory of life. No business is too little to change the world. That's a fact. And so that's why it's important to have one of the hardest things to do is to keep the vision because there's so much that's going against you as you're making this change. So you have to be willing to have the emotional bandwidth, strength to say that I'm gonna consistently pursue what I'm called to pursue in my business because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to make a real difference if you keep persevering and having the vision, because the vision is what's gonna keep you going. Where there's no vision, that's where the people perish. Imma take 2 more of these questions, and then Imma go ahead and log out. Alright, so let's see what we got. How have you grown personally from becoming an entrepreneur? That one's really good. I can say right now personally, one of the things that have worked out for me as of lately, and matter of fact, John Maxwell had said this, and I don't remember the specific quote, but I do have it here. It was along the lines of being able to receive feedback. Okay, nope, here it is. Here it is. Alright. It takes humility to seek feedback. It takes wisdom to understand it, analyze it, and appropriately act on it. So one of the biggest learning experience that I had as an entrepreneur is that no matter how much you love whatever you do and how much you wanna shape it the way you want to, it's supposed to be serving somebody else, not necessarily supposed to be serving you. The outcome is that it should return back to you, but the position you're supposed to be is to serve other people. And so in order for you to serve other people, you have to get their input and their feedback. And a lot of times for me as an entrepreneur, I had to somewhat prune and really pull out of some of my clients, what could we do better? Because, for a few years, it was like, "No, you couldn't have done nothing better. It was amazing. It was perfect." But even though it sounded good to me, there's always a way to improve, always finding a way to get feedback. And so in a personal way, because this is actually a question about how it's helped me personally grow, is that I'm learning how not to take everything to heart. I'm willing to explore and feel that emotion that I'm experiencing when I get that feedback and figure out how I can become better throughout that process. Because feedback isn't an attack, it's an opportunity for you to grow. And feedback usually feels like an attack because someone's pointing out your imperfection. Somebody's pointing out a liability that you have, but they're giving you that in most circumstances because they love you, because they want to see you grow, they wanna see you improve, they want to see the best version of you be unlocked and extracted from the inside of you out, right? And so for me, I've learned to take ridiculous amount of notes and feedback from people so I can become the best version of myself. Because if I'm still the same person I was 3 days ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, and there's no growth in what I'm doing right now. What I said earlier was if I was the same person I was 4 years ago, I can only take something as far as I am as a person. I've only gotten this far because of who I am right now. I can't take it any further until I choose to grow, which is me getting up and reading an hour worth of information every single day to get insight and wisdom on these different things. And so that's one of the biggest personal growth opportunities that I've had as an entrepreneur to be able to be willing and to ask for the feedback, ask for the criticism, so that way I can grow into something that I believe God has called me to become. Now, look at this last question before I log out, because y'all ain't about to have me interviewing myself for a full hour. I'm not used to this, honestly. Hmm, where's this question? This last question is I like it. What will you never compromise on with your business? This is actually a very good question. Um, I have a mission statement. I have a mission statement and I have a motto. It's not even specifically for my business, it's my personal mission and motto. The mission statement is to do what's right with strength and integrity to assist those who want to inspire the masses. Basically, serving leaders with integrity so they can make the impact in their people that they're leading or those that are following them, right? The second, which is the motto, is make everything an experience. Nothing should be done in a boring process. I don't like boring. I'm actually very sporadic. I'm very systems oriented, but if the system is there, it's gotta be a sexy system. I gotta be like, "That's me. I can't believe we have a system like that." It's like thinking about Chick-fil-A. When you go into Chick-fil-A, you know it's like, "Oh, they about to say pleasure. Oh, okay, what's my name? Yeah, you gon yeah, my name is Justin. Yeah, make sure when I get up the name, to the drive-through, you say, "Thank you, Justin," and then my pleasure. Like, it's I gotta make it an experience. So for me, my thing that I will never compromise in any of my, endeavors, entrepreneur, even personal or family, anything, we have to make it an experience because that's where memories are created. I mean, memories can be created in the trenches, but I want it to be something that looks like excellence. It has to be excellent because if I'm set apart and I say I'm a business owner and that I serve my community and I serve my people, it has to be memorable to them because if I'm not memorable, they will never come back. If I'm not memorable, this is that last opportunity I have to connect with them to change their life. And for me, it has to be memorable. I mean, excellent because it's a representation of who I am. If I don't do everything in excellence, then what am I saying about myself? And so when clients come to us for suits, it's an experience. It's not you just come in like when I used to get suits before I got into the business, the tailor would just have me come into the shop and he'd be like, wear this fabric and take my measurements, take my money and kick me out. I knew there was so much more that you can do in that process. I knew that there was more to me than just the fabric he was trying to sell me. And so for us, we don't have walk-ins. You have to have a conversation with us. We have to get to know you because we want to add value to you. We don't wanna just put you in anything. We gotta know, do you travel? Are you always in tropical weather? Are you in, winter weather? Do you move around a lot? Do you sweat a lot? Do you like lightweight stuff? What's your skin complexion? What are these different things? Are you a earth tone type of person? You dress for power or for compliment? Do you value aesthetics, comfort, durability, longevity? These are all things that we ask our clients because we wanna maximize on the experience that we're creating for them. So when they come into our space, I say, "Look, based off of our conversation, this fabric, and this fabric meet your lifestyle. You said that you always fly out, so we had stretching capabilities right here. But you did say that you also speak on stages, so we made sure we had a twill over here that has a beautiful shine and luster to it for pictures, so it'll promote your brand even better. But you also said that you love going out to, Cabo and San Lucas and all Seychelles, all these amazing places where you wanna just feel laid back and relaxed. We have tropical shirts for you so you can feel comfortable, and linen joggers. We thought about this, we thought about you, and before we pick out these things, let me get you a drink, let me play some music, let me make sure you feel comfortable here because we wanna create an experience. The product is what got you there, but the experience is what keeps you there forever, and so that's what I never wanna compromise in my business because if I compromise on my experience, I'm compromising on my name, and if I compromise on my name, my legacy will not be memorable. So, that's my answer to that question. Whew. So, we have gone for 35 minutes, and like I said, I ain't talking a whole hour because I don't got that type of time, nor do I have that type of vocal cord because my, um, my vocal cord's already stressed out from talking this much. So, I appreciate y'all for hopping on here tonight, for this candid conversations, a moment with Shaw. Beyond excited to have this conversation with you every single week. Next week, it's gonna be another guest. It ain't gonna be me, it's gonna be a guest, so I can ask them questions and they could talk for a full hour. We can hear about all the amazing things they do. I do wanna say this, the number one thing that I've heard over these past several lives is that the number one secret to their success has been their ability to connect with other people. It's not been having an amazing product. Now, I'm not saying don't have one. But the number one gift that most of these entrepreneurs have is their ability to connect with individuals, how they network, how they talk, how they add value, how they communicate, how they're able to understand what their people are saying to them and be able to add value back by translating into something that gives them more value. All these things are important because businesses are people's business. We may have a product, we may have a service, but the end user is a person. How do you connect and communicate? So I think that's it, y'all. We're gonna be back here next Tuesday. I think that's the 29th. I don't know, it's about to be Memorial Day weekend, and you could kinda see my eyes, I'm a little tired, but I still gotta go to the gym. So, we'll be back here next Tuesday with another guest. This is Hidden Secrets Live, your host, Eco Shaw. You're having a moment with Shaw. I may do this a little bit more often because I mean, this also it's a little fun. This is probably like a little documentary to myself about the process. But hey, what's for me is also for you. So, look, y'all stay blessed by the best. I'm about to tune out, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Peace.